News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KVNU.
It's now 4:05, and with your KVNU local headlines, I'm Will Feelright as we begin KVNU's For the People show. It's been quite a weekend for emergency crews between Box Elder and also Cache Valley. Now, of course, fire crews were on the scene of a major fire that did close Logan Canyon for over 12 hours. That fire started last night in the Blind Hollow Temple Fork area. Now, according to reports, the fire is still being investigated as far as the exact cause, but the fire did close the highway from about 6:30 last night until noon today. Now, the highway has been reopened, but fire managers are notifying motorists who are traveling through the canyon to expect delays, as you will see traffic restricted to one lane as you get around the Temple Fork area. Now, meanwhile, Mother Nature also putting on a show last night as we saw lightning strikes throughout the area. That caused a number of power outages throughout the valley as well. Crews working on those power outages overnight. Well, in other news, Utah students are returning to the classrooms under new statewide regulations that are restricting cell phone use during school hours following the passage of Senate Bill 69. Now, Governor Spencer Cox signed the legislation back in March requiring local school districts to establish their own policies about restricting cellular devices in classrooms. Now, district policies vary across the state, with some districts putting together an entire bell-to-bell ban, while other districts allow students to use cell phones on lunch breaks and also in between periods. Now, educators still report some positive outcomes so far just in the first pilot programs, noting some decreases in cyberbullying and fights when phones are kept out of the classrooms. And the Cache Valley Center for the Arts has introduced its Theater for All initiative for the upcoming season, offering $3 tickets to eligible Cache County residents for up to 15 national touring productions. Now, funded by private donations, the program aims to try to make performing arts accessible to low-income community members. Now, tickets for the lineup, which will feature Broadway musicals, international dance groups, and also holiday performances, will typically range between $30 to $130. And to qualify, applicants just must live in the Cache Valley and participate in assistance programs such as Medicaid, SNAP, Section 8 housing, free or reduced school lunches, or Social Security disability. Now, eligible residents can request discounted tickets by contacting the theater box office by email. Well, it's been a beautiful afternoon as temperatures have been a little cooler today as we've enjoyed highs in the high 80s. We'll eventually hit the low 90s and then drop into the high 50s tonight. Tomorrow, back into the low 90s as we'll continue to see mostly clear skies. We do have, again, a small chance of some isolated thunderstorms overnight tonight. And as we work our way through the week, temperatures will gradually warm back up. By Thursday, we'll hit the mid-90s, but then cooling off a little bit as we head towards the weekend, as temperatures Saturday and Sunday expected to be in the mid-80s. And weather this hour brought to you by this weekend's biggest garage sale. Yeah, it's coming back. Cache Valley Media Group putting together the biggest garage sale in the valley, and it's happening at the Eccles Ice Center parking lot this Saturday from 8 to 3. Yeah, you'll be able to shop over 50 vendors, everything from furniture, tools, collectibles, and home goods. And if you have stuff you'd like to sell, there's still time for you to be able to sign up for a booth. Just go to the website, CacheValleyGarageSale.com. It's proudly sponsored by DD Auto and Salvage. It's the biggest garage sale in northern Utah, happening this weekend at the Eccles Ice Center parking lot, with plenty of free parking from 8 to 3 this Saturday. And I'm Will Feelright. KVNU News Time is now 4:09, and coming up, it's KVNU's For the People show with Jason Williams.
A rule of thumb is if your air ducts look dirty, they probably are. Dirty ducts should be cleaned by a certified professional like John Hansen of the Duct Hunter. In a typical 6-room home, up to 40 pounds of dust, contaminants, and air pollutants are created annually, and this builds up in the ductwork. Dirty ducts may be contributing to large health issues that can cause serious problems with people with respiratory health conditions, autoimmune disorders, or allergies. Don't risk it. Give the Duct Hunter a call, 770-4813, to clean out the dirty ducts in your home.
The local news source. News Talk KVNU 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
There are moments that shape a lifetime, from first plans to first steps, backyard throws to big wins. And for the biggest decisions, who you choose matters. Where life starts, home begins. Bank of Utah Home Loans. Find out how Bank of Utah can serve you by going to bankofutah.com. Bank of Utah is an equal housing lender, member FDIC, NMLS number 422914.
Time is running out to help someone who truly deserves it. August 31st is the deadline to nominate a deserving family or individual for Mountain Valley Heating and Air Conditioning's Feel the Love program. Once again in 2026, Mountain Valley will provide 5 deserving households and hopefully even more with a complete HVAC system absolutely free. Think of a neighbor, friend, family member, veteran, senior, or someone going through a difficult time who could use a helping hand. Nominate them before August 31st at mtnvalleyhvac.com and click Feel the Love. Mountain Valley Heating and Air Conditioning, 753-5170.
The Above and Beyond Salute.
Hello,
Good morning. Is Allie Pedri there?
this is she.
I wondered if you could use free lunch.
I definitely can.
Someone told us how you're a special ed teacher, a basketball coach, and a mom all at the same time.
Yes, we actually do soccer as well as basketball. And this year we're going to start track with the Special Olympics.
So do you just plan on not sleeping for the next year?
That's a teacher's life, right?
The Above and Beyond Salute on News Talk KVNU. KVNU's For the People with Jason Williams and Bill Walter.
And it is Utah known as the fraud capital of the world. Not because we have more people committing fraud, but because we have so many people falling for it.
Going beneath the headlines and connecting you to the newsmakers.
The radio is a great way to get the word out to a lot of people in an emergency. So we thank you for your help and being a partner with us.
For the People on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM, 102.1 FM, online at 610kvnu.com, and on the KVNU mobile app.
Welcome to KVNU's For the People. It is Monday, August 24th. I'm Jason Williams. 95 degrees here at the Radio Ranch at 4:12 in the afternoon. 95, pretty up there, but it feels cooler than it did over the weekend. So I'm just trying to fool myself. It's been a more enjoyable day. We'll put it that way. Heat, dryness, and thankfully, friendly weather conditions over the weekend with some moderate rain and cooler temperatures have contributed into both a plethora of wildfires throughout Box Elder and Cache County, including the Blind Hollow fire still burning up Logan Canyon. But the rain and the cooler temperatures overnight kind of made things a bit easier for firefighters. We'll have an update in a bit on a couple of fires in Box Elder County, one new and brand new here in our neck of the woods, the Blind Hollow fire up Logan Canyon. Update coming up on that in just a couple of seconds here. Also, on the wildfire front, we're going to be talking about the way we fight wildfires. News agencies throughout the Intermountain West decided to pool their resources, look into their own reporting, and kind of look at some of the patterns, some of the over the years, things that have changed in the way we fight wildfires, and then also trying to answer a question: Are we going about it the right way? How does the way, for example, Utah is fighting, and even beyond fighting the actual fires, mitigating the potential where we can for wildfires in the first place? How does that stack up with available science, with what experts from other states have had success with or not? Really, really interesting and lengthy article on this in the Salt Lake Tribune today. We'll talk about that later on. The first of our candidate spotlights coming up today. This one due to the timing of, let me be more honest. This one due to me completely forgetting about a candidate event in Cache Valley this week for a congressional candidate. Peter Crosby is a candidate for Congress here in the 1st Congressional District, a native of northern Utah, and he is holding a campaign event here in Cache Valley this week, a town hall style event. This will be at the Logan Library this Wednesday at 7 p.m. An opportunity for people to come out and get to know him as a candidate, and for him to present his reason for running and some of his priority issues if elected. Peter Crosby, again, that town hall this Wednesday at the Logan Library at 7 p.m. But he'll join us here on the show, and we'll mark our very first candidate spotlight. We've got quite a few candidate spotlights to get to between now and Election Day, and we're going to, as we did during the primaries, I'm going to try and do it twice, at least, for each candidate. So plenty of opportunity for you to get to know them. But as always, our listeners are welcome to send their questions in. If there's a question you specifically would like to hear the candidates respond to, or even just one candidate, if it's a local race you're paying attention to for your area, shoot them in. kvnuftp@gmail.com. Some of the best questions I've had to ask candidates here on the show over the years have come from listeners who know much more about what's going on in their local area of Cache Valley. I can't keep up on everything, but some great questions that listeners have sent in over the years. So please send them my way. Any question for any candidate, we'll make sure they get asked. KVNU, as long as they're fair, kvnuftp@gmail.com is the email address to send those in. So again, Peter Crosby coming up later on this hour. Trout and Berry Days starting in Paradise this week, and we've got some news on that front. The whole program is under new management, if you will, a new set of people planning and organizing this year. And we're working on getting one, maybe two people here on the show to talk about why everyone should be excited about what is planned this year. Trout and Berry Days is always kind of a fun time. It's this week-long festival, basically, that happens in one of the most rural areas of the valley. And but it's big, and they've stepped it up even more this year. So that's coming up later on in the program as well. So back to the wildfires. News out of Box Elder County yesterday, an update from Lynette Crockett, Box Elder County Public Information Officer, and really one of the best in the state. The job Lynette is doing and her team, it's really been amazing. You usually don't see a county. Box Elder County, I always describe it as a smaller county, and I mean that population-wise because geographically it's a very large county. But population-wise and news and event-wise, it's usually a quieter, smaller, sleepier county. It hasn't been the case this year, and Lynette Crockett and team have really risen to the occasion, keeping us informed of what's going on there. A quick update on a new start over the weekend in Box Elder County, and the Owen Canyon fire. This is had been referred to originally by locals as the Chokecherry fire. This fire burning just a bit south of the Messick's Peak area, right out there near Promontory Point, and currently estimated at 20 acres. But due to favorable weather conditions, the update yesterday from Lynette is the fire progression had stopped for the most part, and that gave crews an opportunity to work their way up through very rough terrain with heavy equipment and more, do some mitigation, fire line drawing and things like that, get some suppression efforts underway closer to the center of the fire, the hottest spots. The update from Box Elder County says crews are still working to contain the fire. They work throughout the weekend and have worked into today as well. But again, favorable weather conditions have allowed them to get on top of this one a little bit. CacheValleyDaily.com, an update on the Blind Hollow fire. This is burning up Logan Canyon, right near Temple Fork and the right-hand fork turn there. This was a blaze sparked last night, forcing law enforcement to actually close the canyon. The canyon was closed around 6:30 p.m. last evening. Due to fear the blaze might jump the road, but also to reserve road space for firefighting crews, water trucks, and more. There were a lot of people camping nearby, and they were forced to evacuate. They were told to be ready to evacuate, but again, favorable weather conditions allowed firefighters to actually keep the blaze at bay, at least burning in that direction towards the campers. Firefighters worked overnight on this fire and built some pretty strong containment lines and have been able to successfully prevent the wildfire from expanding much more than it had. So Logan Canyon reopened this afternoon, but motorists do expect delays near that Temple Fork and Blind Hollow area. Emergency crews and a lot of heavy equipment still in the area, and some of that may be coming in or out. So expect delays, expect traffic to slow a little bit in that area if you're headed up the canyon or listening now and planning on heading back through the canyon. They are working right along the highway in spots, and the Temple Fork Road itself is still closed. No word on exactly when that might reopen. And as of today, Cache County Sheriff's Office and the Rich County Sheriff's Office are coordinating alongside each other with the firefighting effort for traffic and updates and things like that as well. So keep an eye on the Cache County Sheriff's Facebook page for updates there. Also, Utah Fire Info and the Watch Duty app have been pretty good on getting this information on this out. No cause for the fire listed at this point. It's difficult in this situation. There was a lot of lightning activity throughout the afternoon yesterday, and obviously that could have been part of it. But this is also an area that even on a Sunday afternoon, even into Sunday evening and night, sees a lot of vehicle traffic, a lot of human activity up there, a lot of hot catalytic converters coming out of there. So who knows? It could be any of those. But again, no cause officially listed for the fire at this point. Estimated to have burned about 20 acres there in the Blind Hollow area near Temple Fork, and only 20% contained. But firefighters do feel that the break they got with the temperatures and the weather yesterday allowed them to get ahead of it enough that where it is burning and still creeping, it's at least headed in the right direction. So, or, the best direction, I guess we should put it that way. So, photos of the fire from our news team at CacheValleyDaily.com. And again, firefighters responding to this fire after first being reported yesterday, late afternoon, early evening. And again, the canyon was closed around 6:30 p.m., but did reopen this afternoon, just after noon. The Temple Fork, right-hand fork road is still closed and likely will be for some time. Several listeners asking if that means the road is also closed from the connecting area in Blacksmith Fork Canyon. Not officially, but do keep in mind with that road closed where all those roads coming out of Blacksmith Fork do connect and come out that Temple Fork area. Don't be a jerk. Don't get in the way. I know there are a lot of folks who might be tempted to make the trip and snoop in on the fire, but just let them do their work for the time being. And they're being assisted by helicopters as well. So it's a multi-agency effort at this point with a lot of different equipment in the area. So just let them do their thing and make your trip up to look at the burn scar when all is said and done. Again, no cause listed for the fire at this point. Firefighters on scene for more than 24 hours now, being assisted by a helicopter dropping water on the flames and multiple brush units that worked on the fire overnight, monitoring hot spots and trying to get an increase on that containment level, which again is about 20% as of the last update we got. So emergency crews and firefighters remain on scene. The canyon is open, Logan Canyon, Temple Fork not. That right-hand fork road is closed, but Logan Canyon is open, but do expect delays as you near that Temple Fork area where Blind Hollow is located. They're working along the side of the road with heavy equipment. There's a lot of in and out traffic coming off the road as they shuttle equipment up and down to continue fighting the fire. So expect delays around that corner there and before as you near Temple Fork in Logan Canyon. Be careful of that one. That's already a pretty blind corner. So just keep it slow as you near the area. We'll keep you updated as we learn more. Again, photos of the firefighting efforts that our news team obtained on CacheValleyDaily.com. And we'll be back with more of KVN News for the People right after this.
News Talk 610 AM, 102.1 FM, KVNU.
constantly sneezing, having itchy eyes, or runny nose? It's allergy season. This is Dr. Tyson Brown with Budge Clinic's Allergy and Immunology team. We can help you get the relief you need. Having the only board-certified allergist in the Valley, Budge Allergy Clinic offers allergy testing, allergy shots, and treatment, and much more. Call the clinic and book your appointment today, 435-266-4735. That's 435-266-4735, or search Budge Allergy Clinic for details.
Why wait? Ron Keller Tire.
Experience the Ron Keller Tire difference. A quick, easy, no-wait, and fast service for your tire needs. And now Ron Keller Tire in Logan does alignments, front-end work, shocks, struts, and brake services. That's right, alignments, shocks, and brakes. Ron Keller Tire, a name you can trust. Committed to keeping your vehicles running smooth and safe. Why wait? Why schedule?
Why wait? Ron Keller Tire. Why wait?
In Logan, Preston, Tremonton, and Malad.
Thank you. Plant Peddler Floral wants to say thank you. Thank you for letting Plant Peddler take care of the floral arrangements for your most important occasions. This year, Plant Peddler Floral celebrates 50 years. That's 50 years of making friends as they've taken your orders, created and delivered beautiful floral arrangements. When the message is important, you can always count on Plant Peddler Floral to deliver it perfectly. Flowers for every occasion. When the message is important, Plant Peddler Floral, a 5-time Best of Northern Utah Gold winner.
I'm Mike Gavin in for Gordon Deal. Tuesday on This Morning, America's First News. Georgia Senator John Ossoff has jabbed at President Trump for months. Could this be an audition for the 2028 presidential race? We'll explore. Plus, the enrollment cliff heading for America's colleges, and how the government spending problem is affecting your wallet now and in the future. That and more Tuesday on This Morning, America's First News.
From 4 to 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM. Your station for news and talk.
The beat goes on.
Peter Crosby, candidate for Congress, joining us after the news break this hour. He's hosting a town hall event here in Logan this Wednesday at the Logan Library starting at 7. He'll be here to promote the event, talk a little bit about what prompted him to run for Congress. Also, the 1st Congressional District is interesting already. This is a tough town hall for Congressman Blake Moore over the weekend. We'll talk about, or at the end of last week, we'll talk about what people had to say and why things got a bit heated at the town hall. That's coming up later on in the show. Before we get to that, back to fire news and events. It is official. I've linked to this on our Facebook page, but official statement from Utah State University on this and more. The Canyon Road fire, you've heard this, it's gone around, but it has been confirmed by our news team previous, but official statements are out. The Canyon Road fire was caused, as unbelievable as this sounds, by spontaneous combustion. That is how hot and dry it's been out there this summer. This fire, Brandon Sterling, Utah State University fire marshal, said that the Canyon Road fire started with spontaneous combustion in a Utah State University compost pile. That happened in coincidence with 50-mile-an-hour winds that were coming. They were coming out of the east, so they were basically heading down, coming down that hillside, and so that heat from the compost pile combined with the heat and lack of humidity in the air. Things got hot enough. There were some embers. It doesn't sound like it can happen, but it can. I've seen video. And then you throw 50-mile-an-hour winds on top of that. That heat becomes a little glowing dot, tiny, and then pretty soon it's a flame. And then once that fire got going in the compost pile, the wind was enough to just scatter it across to some of that dry vegetation on the hillside. This is... the Salt Lake Tribune reported earlier that there was some confusion over this, basically who was responsible for investigating this. And the Tribune story listed this as something that was kind of surprising as they reached out to different agencies. There was state officials and local officials, the Tribune reported, couldn't agree on who was actually handling the investigation. But the reason for that is that Utah State University was involved, and Kelly Wickens, a spokesperson for the Utah Division of Forestry, Fire, and State Lands, said that the evidence they found basically was cameras that Utah State University has on their property, and they went back through some of that footage, and they could see earlier in the day
ABC News.
Cameras picking up a little flicker in that pile of compost. And then, again, those east to west downslope winds, just once that fire got going in the compost pile, just blew embers over to that dry vegetation, and it took off, to say the least. So the fire grew to, in the end, just a little bit under 18 acres before being entirely extinguished. But the big concern that evening, of course, is that winds would actually have this hop. Either, at a certain point, they were evacuating students from dorms. They're on the north side of the road, above Canyon Road. And there was big concern that if wind shifted, that it would blow straight up across to that hillside on the other side of First Dam and then up the canyon. So this was, not that there's a great spot for a wildfire. This was a spot that got a lot of attention quickly, even from the state when the fire was first reported. But again, there you have it. It is officially spontaneous combustion. Organic material, as it decomposes, creates heat. You combine that with really hot, really dry weather conditions. And yes, a fire can spark out of nowhere. So, but again, officially confirmed by cameras on the property that they were able to review, showing that earlier in the evening, the night of the fire, they could actually see flickering flames basically within that pile of compost. And then soon after that, the wind took some of those embers over to that dry vegetation on the hillside, and the fire was officially raging. So USU spokesperson Amanda Dorito acknowledged the Utah State University link in the fire and said in a statement, we're conducting a comprehensive review of our wood chip and composting operations across campus. USU manages composting and wood chip materials in multiple locations. We want to ensure that we're following best management practices to minimize the risk of similar incidents in the future. So a link to that statement, again, making it all official, although it had been previously confirmed, official statement from Utah State University and the Utah Division of Forestry on our Facebook page. And we'll be back on the other side. We're going to speak with a man named Peter Crosby. He is running for Congress here in the 1st Congressional District as a Democrat. And he's hosting a town hall this week at the Logan Library, 7 p.m. He wants everyone to come out and meet him and bring their questions. We'll talk with Peter on the other side of these headlines with KVNU's Will Feelright.
Well, thank you, Jason. The Rocky Mountain Veterans Center is hosting its 3rd annual Heroes Tribute coming up this Friday at the Riverwoods Conference Center. Now, it'll feature guest speaker Jenny Taylor and also country music artist Cole Hartley. Now, Taylor, who's director of the Major Brent Taylor Foundation, is a Gold Star widow whose husband was killed in action in Afghanistan in 2018 while serving in the Utah Army National Guard and as mayor of North Ogden. Now, Hartley will perform at the dinner and then again the following night at the Cache County Fairgrounds, which will then proceed with fireworks after the show. Now, the event, centered on honoring and remembering military service, will also posthumously recognize community member Jack Nixon, who passed away earlier this month at the age of 95. Now, also, a benefit motorcycle ride to Bear Lake is scheduled to take place on Saturday to support a Utah State University scholarship that was created in honor of Lance Corporal Michael Allred. Now, a devotional is also scheduled for Sunday to close out the weekend activities. Well, in other news, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints rededicated the San Diego, California temple yesterday following extensive multi-year renovations, according to church officials. Now, President D. Todd Christofferson, second counselor in the first presidency, presided over the rededication service. Now, originally dedicated in 1993, the landmark structure, featuring 10 distinct spires, was closed in 2023 for structural upgrades. Now, the project primarily addressed aging infrastructure and heat-damaged art glass, replacing window units with modern insulated glass designed to prevent future heat buildup. Now, ahead of the rededication, the building hosted public tours that started in June and continued into July, drawing almost 250,000 visitors. Now, Christofferson said during the proceedings yesterday that the temple and all other Latter-day Saint temples constitute a viable, visible, tangible testimony of the living reality of the Redeemer. Now, the San Diego location serves as one of 385 operating or planned temples worldwide. And a bizarre story out of Salt Lake where a former Breeze Airways employee is facing now felony charges after allegedly stealing thousands of dollars from the airline through fraudulent payroll entries and then faking his own death to try to avoid arrest. Felix Beltran was charged last week in 3rd District Court with multiple felonies. Now, prosecutors say that Beltran logged into the company's payroll system while suspended in December and added 196 unworked hours, resulting in over $6,800 being deposited in his bank account. Now, following his termination in December, Beltran allegedly entered another 196 hours for an additional $6,800, but this time the airline flagged the transaction before payment went through. Now, when Breeze Airways sent a demand letter in January, a response claimed that Beltran had died. But in July of this year, Salt Lake City police learned from a relative that Beltran was alive and living in Florida to try to avoid being arrested. Well, it's been a nice afternoon as we've enjoyed some cooler temperatures, and it looks like that's going to continue as we head into tomorrow. But we do have a small chance again of some isolated thunderstorms that could come in overnight tonight, as temperatures today have been in the low 90s. Tonight will drop into the high 50s. Then tomorrow, more sunny weather, temperatures staying in the low 90s, will start to warm up a little bit. By the middle of the week, get into the mid-90s, but then cooling off as we head towards the weekend. By Saturday and Sunday, looks like high temperatures are only going to be around the mid-80s. And weather this hour brought to you by the Best of Northern Utah. If you haven't checked out the new Best of Northern Utah magazine, it's available at a number of great businesses all over town as we recognize the gold and silver winners this year, like North Star Exteriors, Bear Lake Window Cleaning, Les Olson Company IT, and Twisted Sugar. Just some of this year's gold winners. Congratulations to all of them. And coming up, of course, ABC with a check of national and world news, and then the Adams Wealth Market Report before we get back to more of KVNU's For the People show with Jason Williams on the way here on KVNU.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The Supreme Court is allowing portions of President Trump's executive order on mail-in voting to proceed. ABC's Devin Dwyer says it does not specifically endorse any restrictive steps argued in courts by the states.
This is direction of the Department of Homeland Security to create a federal citizenship list and to distribute it to the state. He asked the Attorney General with this executive order to prosecute any state official who gives a ballot to someone who is ineligible. For now, the president can move forward with building that citizenship list, threatening state officials with prosecution, and working with the Postal Service for how states have to print their ballots.
The U.S. and Canada locked in a back and forth on tariffs. Canada says it will put tariffs on American goods in September in place after the U.S. imposed 50% hikes on a variety of Canadian imports. Northwest of Reno, fire crews wrangling a wildfire. The Hawk Fire is now 27% contained. This is ABC News.
Hello, Cache Valley. It's Matt Robbins with Quality First Insurance, and we're changing our name to Alara Group. We're still your local hometown team, but now with even more options. By teaming up with one of the nation's top insurance firms, we can bring you more carriers, better value, while keeping the small town personal service you count on. Come see us in North Logan. Same face, same place. Or call 435-752-0101.
Bringing Wall Street to Main Street. From your local experts in downtown Logan, this is the Adams Wealth Advisors Market Report.
From ABC News, Wall Street now. A mixed day for Wall Street as the Dow Jones closed, gaining 140 points. Other indexes like the S&P 500 suffered a stumble after some key tech stock like Micron Technology, SanDisk, and Broadcom dropped throughout the day, finally ending the day at 0.25% loss. The markets today also responding to the announcement of new sanctions against Iran from the Trump administration aimed at cutting off all potential sources of revenue for the regime. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent also warning countries that continue to do business with Iran that they will face similar retaliation. 10-year Treasury yields today also shifted lower to around 4.7% after new reports from the Treasury suggest the agency may use the general account to fund a buyback operation. Some experts, though, appear skeptical about whether this move will be able to successfully bring down yields on 10-year and 30-year Treasuries. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
That's your update from Adams Wealth Advisors, guiding your financial future one day at a time. For personalized help planning yours, reach out to us at 435-752-1702. See you soon, Cache Valley. Advisory services offered through Adams Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. For important disclosures and more information, visit adamswealthadvisors.com.
This year, as America celebrates 250 years of freedom, let's remember the heroes who helped protect it. Not every veteran comes home to stability. Some struggle to find housing, support, and a place to call home. On Saturday, August 29th at 8 a.m., join the USA Project Valor 5K run at Heritage Park in Nibley. Every registration helps provide housing and hope for struggling homeless veterans. Registration is just $35. Run for a cause. Run for a veteran. Sign up today at usaprojectvalor.org.
I've always been the kind of man who doesn't believe in strings.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Continuing on with what will mark our very first candidate spotlight of the general election. We have a lot of candidates to get to. We'll do our best to get to each and every candidate in every race here in northern Utah at least twice. But with a focus on events where you have an opportunity to get out while the weather still invites it and enjoy some time with your local friends and family, community members and neighbors, and get to know the candidates. There are several meet and greet style events coming up this month in parks and various meeting locations throughout the valley. But this marks the first. This week, a town hall at the Logan Library, 7 to 8 p.m., hosted by a candidate for Congress here in the 1st Congressional District. I keep getting that wrong. They keep changing the numbers on me. We'll just say the Northern Utah Congressional District. How about that? Candidate for Congress, Peter Crosby, joining us here. And Peter, appreciate you taking some time for KVNU today.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me on.
You have planned this town hall style event as a chance for people to not only get to know you and interact with you in person, but also to bring any question you say. You say no topic is off the table.
Yeah, this is actually, I think, our 33rd or 34th town hall event that we've hosted since I started the campaign.
What kind of response are you getting? Are you getting a sense of what, the priority issues for voters are here in the district with that many?
Yeah. I would say there's probably three things that are top of mind for most folks. The first one is almost always something around affordability. People, it's tough right now. It's hard when we don't have living wages for a lot of people here in northern Utah. House prices are out of reach for a lot of young families. Healthcare access has been restricted, and it's tough to get what you need. The tariffs, the war in Iran have all made it really hard for small business owners. Things are tough. So affordability is almost always top of mind. The second issue that tends to come up quite a lot is the Great Salt Lake. It's
makes sense.
Turning into an ecosystem.
It's hard to express. I've tried myself here on the show, Peter, but it's hard to really express what happens if we lose the Great Salt Lake. Do you get a sense people are starting to kind of connect those dots?
I do. I think there's been some really good work done by nonprofit and nonpartisan organizations like Grow the Flow.
Sure.
And, they point to data and they say, hey, listen, no inland sea has been recovered. And when they do die, it devastates the entire community around it, which for Utah is all of northern Utah, right? It's all up and down the Wasatch Front, and it's not a small thing. It would wipe out all of the economic base in the area. It's that toxic mineral and chemical mixture that's in the lake bed that creates a health crisis for all the communities. It really is a pretty big deal if we can't come together and find a solution there.
And Peter, you're coming at this run as a northern Utah, basically native, and someone who you said you grew up, watching. Well, we've all done it, right? We've watched northern Utah change a lot over the last few years, and I get the sense that there's just kind of a general anxiety out there.
I would agree with that. I think a lot of people right now, there's been studies and stuff recently. A lot of people are pretty just frustrated with political parties in general. Over 60% of Utahns aren't particularly happy one way or the other. And I think the last few years, that anxiety has started to exhibit itself in people asking questions about, why isn't the problem actually getting solved? We know it's a problem. A lot of times we even know what a solution might look like. But you have people, when you look at marriage rates and birth rates for especially young families, they're not having more kids.
Sure.
Because they're really worried about what the future looks like. And I think that's a pretty concerning trend from my perspective. We've got 3 teenage daughters, and I would like them to be hopeful for the future. And right now they feel a lot more anxious than hopeful.
This is an interesting, it segues right into something I wanted to ask you about, something you have at your website. For listeners out there, you can connect with Peter's campaign via Peter Crosby for Congress. I've linked to that on our Facebook page, and that's spelled just as it sounds, CROSBY. Peter Crosby for Congress.org. Link on the Facebook page, or you can just simply do a simple Google search for Peter Crosby for Congress. You'll find him that way as well. He's also on social media via the campaign. But you write at your website, you mentioned that, you're concerned for your daughter's future. This stood out to me. On your website, you talk about, and I'm not making light of this, but man, what horrible timing. You started your professional career and became a father for the first time in 2008, right as that financial crisis was ramping up. And you said that you graduated then into one of the worst job markets for a generation, easily. You say that kind of informs your concern now for your daughters. Do you see? Are you seeing parallels
about it? At some point, trauma just turns into humor, right?
Sure. What can you do, right? Other than just kind of chuckle. But that is, that literally, you're a person then who, as a new father, just starting a new professional career, and soon after that, a college graduate, in literally one of the worst times to try and find a job in this country in a generation. So are you seeing parallels? Are you looking at your daughter's future and thinking,
The answer is absolutely. So I think one of the great tests of the American dream is that every parent feels like if they work hard, that the system itself should mean that their kids or their grandkids have more opportunities than we did, right? That our kids will be better off than we were because we worked hard and the system itself allows us to get further ahead. And I'll just be candid. I'm an elder millennial, I guess is what they call us. And I graduated my senior year in high school when 9/11 happened. I watched that in my math class my senior year.
Wow.
And then for the next 20 years of my life, my country has been at war. And I come from a military family, so that has very personal implications for me. I have major economic disasters that have happened. I've seen some of the worst natural disasters in American history take place. And now I'm handing off that future to my kids. And my biggest concern right now is that future isn't ready for them. And I want to be clear about that. I am not yet ready to hand over this system to my kids or anybody else's kids because this system isn't yet ready to work for them. We have broken it. We've broken it pretty badly in some ways. The good news is we can fix it, right? Like, this isn't some mystical, magical thing. We know how to fix things. This is something we built. It's something we broke. It's something that we can rebuild or fix. And so that's a big motivation for me to do this, is because I know that what I'm handing off to my children is not ready for them. And I refuse to accept that as an answer. We are going to make sure that they have their opportunity for the American dream. And that's my responsibility, right? That's my job, is to make sure that they have that opportunity.
Sure. This was also intriguing to me, Peter, and I'm not pointing fingers at any specific other candidates, but I've interviewed a lot of thousands of candidates over the last 20 years, and it's very easy for a candidate to come in, especially a first-time candidate, and say, you know, everything's broken, it's not working right. Everyone nods and agrees because we're all experiencing it. And then say we got to burn it all down and rebuild it, which is easy to promise as a candidate. But you take it, you take a different approach. I'm paraphrasing and oversimplifying grossly here, but reading through your website, you're kind of taking the approach of saying, look, in a lot of these situations, we have the tools and the programs and the systems in place already to fix this. They're just not tooled correctly, or maybe regulation has kind of gotten a little lopsided in this way, or the funding isn't as effective as it could be. You're taking a more scalpel approach.
I would say 100%. This isn't about, and I know some people might disagree with me, but this is not about blowing everything up. In my experience, when you look at systems that self-destruct, it's always the people at the bottom of the system, the most vulnerable, that get hurt the most when that happens.
Sure.
And I do honestly believe that we have good foundations. Like, the Constitution is a good foundation for the right kind of government. And we have good laws in place in many situations. We have good programs that work. This is very much about saying we need to get rid of corruption, because there's some stuff happening with our public servants that has gone awry. We need to hold public servants accountable, and that starts with me. And then we need to build on the things that do work, while, taking a scalpel to the things that don't.
That is, it's an interesting. It's sad, I guess, that the message sounds unique. Is what I'm trying to say, but it does. I appreciate that. For listeners, if you want to know more where Peter stands on various issues, from the Great Salt Lake to corruption to Congress trading stocks, all of that at his website, Peter Crosby for Congress. That is spelled Crosby, petercrosbyforcongress.org. And I've linked to that on our Facebook page. Peter, again, hosting a town hall event this Wednesday at the Logan Library, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. This is town hall style, meaning you can just come and ask your questions, meet Peter and more. And then he has events scheduled all throughout the district throughout the month of August. For our Box Elder County listeners, I just want to point out as well, ahead of that event, there is also a Box Elder Fair Parade where you can meet. That is in Tremont, for those not familiar. You can actually meet Peter there as well on the 26th, earlier in the day. So busy day on Wednesday for Peter Crosby, candidate for Congress. And Peter, appreciate taking some time for KVNU today. We'll speak again soon, and maybe in a less tight time and constraint environment, expand on some of these ideas. But I've got to say this to everyone who does it, because I know it's no easy thing to do. Thank you for filing and running, because if no one does that, we don't have any names on the ballots, right?
Well, and thank you for being part of making sure people know what's going on. Democracy doesn't work in the darkness, so thank you.
Appreciate that. And appreciate your time today. We'll speak again soon. Again, marking our first of the general election cycle candidate spotlight in recognition of Peter Crosby for Congress. And you can connect with him via his website and on social media. A simple Google search for Peter Crosby for Congress will take you everywhere you need to go. But the exact address, petercrosbyforcongress.org. He's hosting a town hall event here in Logan this Wednesday, August 26th. At the Logan Library, 7 to 8 p.m. And one of the first opportunities for Cache Valley residents to get out here in the general election cycle as it officially gets underway, really, for most of us at least. It is an opportunity to get to know the candidates. So take advantage of these events. Again, a town hall event hosted by Peter Crosby, candidate for Congress here in the Congressional District. It's 7 to 8 p.m. at the Logan Library. Thanks again to Peter for his time, to our listeners for your time. We'll speak with Peter again soon here on the show, and more candidates coming up over the coming weeks. And stick around. We'll be back with more of For the People right after this.
Hey Utah, have you heard? Nuclear energy might be coming to our state. Now, before your brain jumps straight into sci-fi movies, let's talk about what nuclear actually does. Nuclear technology helps power our nation's submarines, supports life-saving cancer treatments, and produces reliable electricity for millions of homes. That said, nuclear power also comes with a lot of misconceptions. Don't worry, we get it. Energy decisions matter, and Utahns deserve the facts. Learn more about nuclear and what it can mean for you. Visit energy.utah.gov/nuclear.
Tired of the daily grind? There's an easier way to get around. Connect Transit takes the stress out of your commute. No gas, no parking, no hassle. Just a warm seat and a quiet ride. Connect Transit. This is how we roll. Visit rideconnectutah.gov.
This is Cache County Fire District Chief Brady George. Due to ongoing fire dangers, fire restriction orders have been increased to Stage 2 restrictions. These include the following acts. Building, maintaining, attending, or using fire or campfire is prohibited, including charcoal grills, pellet grills, or ash-producing fuels. All other restrictions remain in place, including no smoking except within an enclosed vehicle, trailer, or building, a developed recreation site, or while stopped in an area that is paved or free from dry vegetation. No cutting, welding, or grinding metal in areas of dry vegetation. No operating a motorcycle, chainsaw, ATV, or other small internal combustion engine without an approved and working spark arrestor. No discharging or using fireworks, tracer ammunition, or other pyrotechnic devices, including exploding targets. Cache County Fire District urges all residents and visitors to use caution during outdoor activities. Preventing wildfires and protecting the beauty of Cache County is a shared responsibility.
Guess which energy source is truly the cleanest for the environment, is affordable, abundant, and is ready right now to do what all the other clean energy sources hope to do someday? It's propane. Yes, propane. To learn more about what propane can do for you, check out the State of Energy right here, Saturday mornings at 6:30. Also, the propane industry is set to grow by $50 billion over the next 5 years. Go to findapropanejob.com.
We loaded up my old station wagon with a tent, a Coleman, and sleeping bag.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Thanks again to Peter Crosby, candidate for Congress. People are teasing me here. They keep moving. They keep changing the maps. Yes, during our time with Peter Crosby, candidate for Congress, in that interview, I kept referring to our own congressional district as the wrong district. For those who have not followed this whole somewhat dramatic process, you can check out the official maps if you're curious via an actual GIS data site that I've linked to on our Facebook page. But they have redistricted. Then they redistricted in 2020. Then there were some lawsuits. Then there were some counter lawsuits. Then there was a lengthy, very slow court process that played out. And so District 1, as we've known it for years, became District 2. District 1 is now the Salt Lake City proper area of Utah, the blue district. We became District 2 down the eastern side and southern part of the state, became District 3, and the central western side from about Tooele County on down to just above Piute County or Beaver County became District 4. And yes, I got it wrong. I kept saying District 1. We are in District 2, just to clear that up. Peter Crosby running as a candidate in District 2. We'll also be speaking with the incumbent in this race, of course, Congressman Blake Moore, coming up on a later show, and we'll try to get to all the candidates in every race at least a couple of times. Coming up in Hour 2, representatives of the Planning Committee for the 2026 Trout and Berry Days Festival happening now.